I'm back, and guess who has not one, not two, not three, but four full featured stories in this week's edition of the Los Angeles Sentinel. Yours truly. And I'm really excited about this because one of the stories is the last piece that I was able to write for California Black media. And those stories go throughout the entire state. And that story is really, really special because really, really big and exciting news. And then the other three story, I'm so happy to announce that yours truly is now a contributing writer for the Los Angeles Sentinel. So my stories are not only just circulated the entire state of California now, when the 30 Black owned newspapers coming together as a collective, but hyper local stories you will see from me in the Los Angeles Sentinel. So again, I have four stories. So the first one I'm gonna talk about is the Common story. So Common, the rapper, hip hop activist, philanthropist, actor, he's amazing, and author. So y'all, this one, I'll be so proud because I'll be taking up half the pages. But look at this. You girl got I have a page story. Those are my pictures, this two and that one. All my words, and then that story was a courtesy photo. But basically he came together with the Black Equity Collective, and he was talking about his work and what he does with activism, starting with the prison reform and the amazing things he's doing in Chicago and his new home, which is Los Angeles. And he did a lot of cool things with like the prisoners, having a concert on the steps of the Capitol. But he's very vocal about what he does. So something that I noted from his fireside chat is that he does not refer to our communities as disadvantaged or minorities. He calls them high potential communities. And many people may not realize this, but now that we're going after grants and we can't cite racial um, discrimination, affirmative action, we are now no longer referred to as a color, like some of our brothers and sisters were saying on the internet. We get to be the historically disadvantaged. So we're not black anymore, okay, ladies and gentlemen, in our community, we are now referred to as historically disadvantaged. But he calls us high potential. But I'm more than happy to go to these amazing events throughout Los Angeles. And, I really want to be on the forefront of making sure that the Los Angeles Sentinel is getting original coverage. And I'm really happy to give some high resolution photos, as you can see, fireside chat with him and Casey Patterson. And then they got to talk about Black Equity Collective, and there's my photo of Common there. And then I'm really excited. Now, I got a whole page. I got two stories on one page, and this one is promoting a Black owned grocery store that just opened in Highland Park, and one of our sisters. It's called Carla's Fresh Market. And I got to interview her and promote all the amazing food she'll be selling. And I really my gist in asking her interview questions was more along the lines of, okay, you're sourcing. Where where are your producers coming from? Are these black farmers? I'm always gonna look out like, are you sourcing? And unfortunately, she's not finding as many black farmers who source her produce as she is with the brown, Latino, Hispanic farmers. So a lot of the farms that she sources from are family farms, very small. And her work and experience in this is coming from, she used to run the Hollywood Farmers Market for 5 years, she did. But then, again, my third story that I'm highlighting is the First Lady. And that is another picture I took. And there she is with the U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Services, Secretary Xavier Becerra. And I put this story together, but I also went and asked the Secretary of Health and Human Services, as they are looking for more participants for clinical research and data and studies, particularly how are they going to address the fact in the healthcare system that Black women are being ignored, their voices are not being heard, which is causing issues in the maternity ward. But then the second question was, how do our communities which are skeptical of the medical industry, how will you differentiate between what we may feel they may call research, but we may feel is experimentation? Henrietta lacks anybody. So I was happy to, as the First Lady came to California, Los Angeles, and she toured Cedars-Sinai Hospital to announce a new White House initiative for women's research in the healthcare industry because they were basing a lot of how they practice medicine on women based on data and statistics from people that don't look like us or from men. So, I made sure I included his that one-on-one interview. I got an exclusive on that. I was really happy. But then, again, my fourth story, but I think this is the story I was working on the longest, and we were really, my editors are so amazing. They were like, okay, what's the meat of this story? Well, I've been following around the Southern California Association of Governments, and they work on projects at 25, 30-year intervals. So they told me I am not too early in asking about questions for the Olympics because I know transportation is huge during the Olympic Games. And so while we were kind of sitting on this information last week, President Biden announced not one but two projects totaling $6 billion coming to the great state of California so we can have our Bright Line, but also our high speed rail coming between Los Angeles and Las Vegas. We'll be able to transport and commute in about 2 hours, and we'll be able now, because of the high-speed rail and the bullet trains, be able to traverse between and transport between Los Angeles through the Central Valley all the way up to San Francisco in less than 3 hours. So they're going to be breaking ground on that probably in January. And guess who's already got the invitation to cover the groundbreaking? So your girl is going out there getting these stories, and I'll talk about why that's important in just a minute. But my fourth story, okay, the headline reads, Feds pump over $6 billion into two new projects, California high-speed rail projects. So again, Lila Brown, that story is circulated throughout the state of California. And why is this so important? I'll explain in just a few. These stories are important to me because for those that subscribe to Black-owned newspapers, it is extremely crucial that we get stories in a timely manner, that we're not sitting on stories or playing catch up. And so with, for example, the Fed story about the railroads, excuse me, yeah, the railroad, Tommy, that's over 11,000 new jobs already. And then once the railway is built, they will need more people to work the maintenance and operations on the day-to-day for these high-speed rail. So that's going to really improve commerce between the two cities and the two regions. And so that is very important. I was more than happy to stay on top of that story, and we kept feeding the information, we kept adding on information, and that bright line really digging in because when we hear about $6 billion come to the state, our communities should be asking, how can we get in on that? What does that mean for us? Does it mean jobs? And not just jobs, they're saying high paying jobs. And so I was really happy that we were able to sit on that story until the president made his announcement, and then we've got to put all the facts together. So lots of information into that one. And also, people are still, believe it or not, asking me as we're talking about the Native Americans, the Black Californians who are digging into their family records and finding out they have American Indian roots. And I just want to say that for anybody that's hitting me up about this story, because y'all love these American Indian stories. And I think the publishers and editors and everybody is really happy that we were able to get that story out. But I'll just say this to make a long story short. Once I was able to do all the documentation and get myself into Cherokee Nation and my sister, and we're tracing, of course, to the same ancestors, the way I was able to get more than 80 family members in is because I did the grunt work. And now people like my brother or my nieces and nephews, they just need one application. Nobody's sending them back saying, prove this, prove that, because I did all the work. But once one family member gets in, you're good to go. And I want to close by saying this. If you don't already, subscribe to your local Black-owned newspapers. If you're sick of negative portrayals of our people, find your local Black-owned newspaper and subscribe today. I'm sure it's affordable annual rate. Go for it. Thanks for your support. I appreciate you all. escalators, elevators.